Lisbeth. I'm the founder of Nordic Dog Trainer, and Nordic Dog Trainer is located in Norway, here in Scandinavia. And we do online courses on the internet, so we reach pretty much everyone. Currently, we've had people from more than 52 countries, no, more than 50, so 50-something countries on our dog trainer school, which is amazing. There's a lot of free resources here, right here. And if you go to our web page, nordicdogtrainer.com, you see in the menu that it says free resources, and you even get more if you go to our web page, more free resources. So we have quite a lot of free stuff for you. Tell me in the comments, how many of you are frequently using dog parks, and why do you go to dog parks? Dog parks are getting more and more popular also here in Norway, and they have some good things about them and some not so good things about them. So let's talk about that, so we all know what and why we're doing it. Actually, Mark Beckhoff wrote a whole book about observing dogs in dog parks. So let me say something good about dog parks, okay? I want to start with the good stuff, because it's getting a reputation as not a good place to be, which we'll later discuss why. But don't forget, it's also good things about dog parks. Now, I know a lot of you are not from Europe or from Scandinavia. It's different in all countries, of course, depending on where you live. But in countries where we mostly have dogs as our pets, so we walk them on leash, the trend is that it's getting more and more strict on where we can walk our dogs off leash. So for that purpose, it's good to have dog parks, right? Please note that I'm saying dog parks, and I'm not mentioning who's in the dog park, okay? Because that's my next thing. Dog parks are absolutely perfect, great, actually fantastic if you have a big fenced area where you can have your dog off leash. But the absolutely best thing would be if you can be there by yourself or with your dog's friends. Yeah, your dog's dog friends. Not an open, not during, happy hour when everyone is coming and you don't know the other dogs. So I wouldn't take my dog to a dog park where I don't know the other dogs. However, if I knew the other dogs and I knew that my Wilma liked them and were friends with them, it's a perfect place. Do we agree? Likes, hearts, no? Angry faces, maybe? I don't know. What do you think? Makes sense, right? So do not be all negative to the dog parks as such, as a park, as a place where we can have fenced, safe areas for our dogs to be off leash, because that is important. At Nordic, we talk a lot about dogs, walking our dogs on leash. We talk a lot about reactivity on leash, everything that's happening on leash, right? So it's so important. The best thing is always for dogs to be off leash. That's always the optimal best thing, right? So to have places where you can maybe even schedule an hour or 30 minutes or whatever for you, for your dog, and maybe possibly another couple of dogs that, are your dog's friends. This is a great opportunity, a dog park. I know some of my colleagues here in Norway, she's a former student at a Norwegian dog trainer school. She managed to start a dog park in a town in Norway with an enriched environment, with a permanent enriched environment. She worked, you know, through the people in the town hall and stuff, but she got funding for it, and it's perfect. Yeah. So dog parks is not such a bad idea. And also, I almost forgot to say that, yes, walking on leash, we may walk our dogs on leash most of the time, but it's so important that they do get to run freely when they choose to. And I know if you're new to Nordic, please go ahead and watch all our free lectures here. We are talking a lot about walking slowly with our dogs when they're on leash, but we are definitely not against dogs running, right? So it's all about choice. If you take your dog for a walk in the woods and he or she is allowed off leash, then you can see their natural way of moving. They run a bit, they trot a bit, they walk a bit, you know? So it's all about choices. So running next to a bike because you have to run next to a bike is no good. Walking slowly on leash because you're not allowed to do anything else but to walk slowly all the time is not good. So it has to be a variation. And all, of course, always then by choice. It's always the best thing. Okay. I'm going to share my little PowerPoint, which is my sheet. This is so difficult to say. Cheat sheet, that's what they call it. Yeah. I have some notes, so I remember what to talk about. Okay. Pros and cons of dog parks. So why do we visit a dog park? I think mainly for these reasons. We want to socialize our dog, maybe even want to socialize ourselves a bit. We want to exercise our dog and think that maybe, you know, running around with other dogs is good exercise. Some people think of it as mental stimulation. For some people, it's an important part of their own community, the two-legged community, where they are meeting their friends. It's, you know, off-leash play. For a lot of people, that is important. And for diverse environments, so different environments, going to a new place. And I'll come back to these reasons at the end of my PowerPoint. So now I'm going to talk about why we should really consider not visiting a dog park. And this is important, not visiting a dog park if there's other dogs you don't know. Yeah. So first of all, there's safety concerns. Dog parks can sometimes be unpredictable environments, and not all dogs behave well or are well socialized. And this is what I see also from my work working with dogs and their caretakers, is one of the bigger problems, because you know how it is when you meet another dog owner. They say, oh, it's not a problem. My dog is such a nice dog. He's, you know, he's so kind. He's not aggressive. But can you trust the other person to know that? Do you know a stranger, if they have the knowledge enough to read the calming and distance increasing signals of their dogs? What do you know about this person? Nothing. So do you want to trust him? I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. So people might think they know, but they don't. And also because for a lot of people, this is also socialization time for themselves. They're actually there talking to each other, letting their dogs run around off leash like crazy dogs, and don't even watch what's going on. They don't observe what's going on. and or misinterpret, sorry, that was a difficult word for me. Hopefully you understand what I mean. They don't understand the dog's calming signals. I can tell you that not all dogs that are running in the front is a happy dog. You know, if you see one dog being chased by the other dogs, this happens a lot, unfortunately, because there's a lot of people that they don't know this yet. I'm not saying that people are mean or anything. It's just, you know, a matter of, do you know it or don't you? So a lot of behavioral problems actually arise because of this type of socialization. It also happens in what you call it for dogs, daycare for dogs. You know, when you have a lot of dogs together, and the people that are caring for them or are supposed to observe and care for them don't have the knowledge enough to know what's going on there. So your dog can be bullied, or your dog could become a bullier. You know, if this is very typical, that a young dog, you know, they're like humans in that way. The people or the other dogs they hang with, that's how they kind of, you know, they socialize with. That's how they learn their behavior. So if your dog is hanging with the wrong crowd of other dogs, you can end up with the dog that is bullying other dogs. So a lot of these things actually do start in situations like this, in environments like this, where we don't have real control of what's going on, yeah, basically lack of knowledge from a lot of, you know, different reasons. Also overcrowding, so popular dog parks can become crowded, leading to stressful interactions and potential conflicts among dogs and owners. And again, it's how the humans are handling the situation, because a lot of conflicts, a lot of dog fights can be completely avoided if we were acting the right way. And by that, I mean, you, for example, not interfering. A lot of the times, we, the humans, are the one that is unintentionally starting the fight, because we don't know what's going on. We don't know the dog's language. You know, you have a couple of dogs staring at each other. It's a tense situation. And then you go towards the dog and you go, stop it, you know, and already there, maybe the tension was so high and you were the one who kind of, you know, made it happen. Unintentionally, of course. That's why it's so important to know the dog's language. So again, I've said this a million times now, but if you are going to invest in one book, it should be the Talking Terms with Dogs, on Talking Terms with Dogs. Okay, lack of control. You may have limited control over your dog in a dog park. And I'm nice here saying you may have, because the truth is you do have limited control. You have less control of your dog in a dog park, which can be problematic if your dog is being bullied or is the bully, or experiences something that might frighten him or her. And there is the noise and stress. Some dogs may find the dog park environment stressful due to the noise and commotion, and potentially leading to anxiety and fear. And, you know, this is, again, I'm coming back to the body language of dogs. Stress and anxiety. Dogs that are stressed, chronically stressed, or dogs that are fearful can and often will show body language that we confuse with a happy dog. For example, jumping, barking, acting all crazy. A lot of us think that, oh, it's just a happy dog, whereas in fact, the dog is stressed or even maybe fearful. And then we have the two-legged. I'm sorry, but I think we are causing a lot of problems, aren't we? Irresponsible and inattentive dog owners can contribute to problems at the park, such as not cleaning up after dogs or intervening in problematic behavior. So let's say that you know everything about the calming signals. You know your dog very well. You know the signals. You know how he or she behaves, and so on. But how can you stop another person from interfering, for example, and giving your dog a bad experience? It's much more difficult in an environment like this when you don't know the other people and you want to avoid conflicts yourself, right? So this could be a problem as well. And of course, there are individual preferences. Not all dogs enjoy or benefit from dog parks. Some dogs are naturally more introverted or maybe even anxious and may not thrive in a busy and social environment. And is it really social, though? And I think I've had a couple of lies about this before, because being social is about being with people you know, okay? So coming back to my first page, we are visiting dogs parks to socialize, exercise, maybe even mental stimulation, community for us, off-leash play, and diverse environments. And this is what you can do instead. You can rent the park and do this in the park with your dog and your dog friends, because I just need to say this first very quickly. Socialization is about being with other people for us or other dogs for our dogs that we like being with, that we feel comfortable being with. And this is very important, because I remember I learned in the 80s and 90s as well, I learned, to socialize my puppy. I should take him everywhere and meet and greet all kinds of people on the street and so on. But now we know better. This is not proper socialization. When you go down a busy road Saturday morning or just before Christmas, and you bump into a lot of people, you might even say, excuse me, sorry, these kind of things, but you don't know them. That is not socialization. Socialization is to go try and make your way through the crowd to get to the cafe where you're supposed to meet your two good friends, right? The cafe with your two good friends is your socialization. Same thing with dogs. So you can do social walks with dog friends. And I know, sorry about the capital letters, but I want to emphasize how important that is. Exercise is through social walk with dog friends. And a social walk can be done off leash and on leash. Yeah. Mental stimulation is enriched environments. Take your dog to a dog park when there are no other dogs. There are lots of interesting smells, but there are enriched environment can also be just a different environment from where you usually walk your dog. So if you go twice a week to a new place to walk your dog, that's enrichment. If you now, go the same route every day, 3 times a day, it's a bit boring, isn't it, for the dog, maybe even for you. So don't be afraid to take your dog different places. You can do that together with other dog friends or alone, with the dog alone. And for the community, then, you're welcome to join our community. We have free Facebook page, a group, it's called Nordic Dog Trainer Insider, or other platforms online or offline where you can discuss dogs with other people. without having to have your dog there, as you know, in the dog park. And off-leash play. Off-leash, like I said in the beginning, is important, but play, that depends on the dog. Play is not something that every dog is doing. And adult dogs, if they don't play, that's normal behavior. Again, we have several talks about this here. So being off-leash is something you can do with other dog friends. And for diverse environments, you can build your own enriched environment at home, inside your small flat, doesn't have to be big, inside or outside, on your balcony or in your garden, if you have a garden, or anywhere. If you're lucky and you have a sensory garden for dogs nearby, then take him there. So all of these benefits, socialization, exercise, mental stimulation, community, off-leash, and diverse environments, is something we can do in a better way than having your dog in an environment with a lot of dogs he don't know and where you don't have control of the situation, and probably not your dog either. Okay. Yes. If you know someone with another dog, go for a walk on leash, you know, for a slow, nice, sniffy walk, you know what I mean? Go for a nice stroll on a long leash with some distance and just see how they get on. And this is something you might have to do with several dogs. Maybe we should start something called dog dating or something. Yeah. So you need to try out different ones to see what they like. So I remember as well that, you know, before, again, this is like 20, 30 years ago, it was very normal to be angry with dogs if they didn't like other dogs, which is crazy. We know better now that dogs are like us. Some dogs they enjoy being with, some they tolerate, and some they don't like for whatever reason. And they don't talk, so we won't really know why. But most dogs and most people, we like each other, you know? So finding another dog friend doesn't have to be very difficult. Most dogs like each other. So yes, I would definitely just start with a walk together. Walk with one other dog. If we talk about social walks like we do the Nordic way, is to walk just a very few dogs at a time. You start with 2 dogs, obviously not 1, because then it's really not social. So 2, and then 3, and then 4, and maybe 5. Not 20, 30, 40 dogs. That's overwhelming. That's a huge party. You're not socializing with 40 people in a party. You socialize with a few of them. So, yeah. Or, you know, you could even go to a dog park without your dog and start chatting to people. Observe. Someone said earlier in the comments that they like to observe dogs in a dog park, which is great. And then maybe you can pick out a couple of dogs and their caretakers and say, hey, that could be a nice fit for my dog. You want to go on a walk together? Yeah. So thank you very much for being here, taking the time to listen. And hopefully I gave you something to think about, to consider. Okay. Bye.